And I was like praying to God, how much more are you going to take away from me? And then God, there's one of the times when I clearly heard God's voice. It was like, how much more do I have to take away from you before you realize I'm the only thing that you have to begin with? And once I heard that, I was like, okay, Roger that. I got it.
My wife obviously found your content from not only the funny comedy skits, but also because she appreciates the fact that you're pretty open about your faith on social media and things like that. So what kind of like sparked that interest in the first place? I know obviously your father was a pastor.
Yeah.
You had that upbringing. So
that was the first.
That was like the
exposure.
first thing. Yeah. And then did you maintain that even when you moved out and stuff like that? Or
no, I lost my faith at around 15 to so I lost my faith at around 15 and then became an atheist at around 17 and then became an agnostic up until I joined the Navy.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was funny enough, like it was like in training, going to chapel, and like,
Was that kind of like what brought you out of atheist into agnostic again?
Yeah, exactly. Like I wasn't fully Christian again, but it was like being around the boys inside a church and how nice it was. Not the chapel, but just like, worshiping with the boys and stuff like that. And then getting out. And then getting canceled, right?
You got canceled?
Oh, yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
How many years ago was that? Was that a couple years ago?
Yeah, a couple years ago.
We don't have to go into the details.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Fine.
But at the same time getting canceled, I lost my grandparents, right?
Wow. When you were getting canceled?
Yeah. In a 2-month time frame, right?
Oh,
and then got canceled again, right? Because, when it rains, it pours.
Yeah, of course.
And I was praying to God. I was like, how much more are you going to take away from me? How much more do you need from me?
Were you were close? Was this your Korean grandparents?
Yeah.
These were really close.
Really close to. Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
They were like my definition of unconditional love, right? And I was like praying to God, how much more are you going to take away from me? And then God, there's one of the times when I clearly heard God's voice. It was like, how much more do I have to take away from you before you realize I'm the only thing that you have to begin with? And once I heard that, I was like, okay, Roger that. I got it. And that's when I really made the shift of slowly surrendering things up to God and trying to live the life.
And how did you physically go about doing that?
First thing was I went celibate for a year.
Celibate
For a year. And also fast for 24 hours every Sunday for 3 to 4 years.
Every Sunday?
Every Sunday.
Even now?
No, I stopped doing that.
Okay, but that was a thing you were doing for a period of time?
3 to 4 years.
Okay. And then did you end up going back to a church at some point, or?
Oh yeah, immediately.
What denomination did you start off going to?
It was a Japanese church, and I think they were Presbyterian.
Okay. Is it a Japanese church?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I speak Japanese too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you were.
I was looking for a place where I knew nobody would know me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted to be just
anonymous
face in the crowd.
Correctamundo. Yeah.
Why did you want to be anonymous? You wanted just like nobody to bother you or something, or?
Yeah, pretty much. Like I wanted a place where I didn't have to be Reed Choi. I wanted a place where I could just be with God.
Were you already
I don't have to
big
perform
on the internet at that point?
Yeah, by then I probably had around 3 million followers.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's like every platform together?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Which is still a significant amount. So you wanted to go somewhere nobody knew you, nobody would notice you. You could actually like really focus on your faith and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you went to this Japanese Presbyterian church?
Yeah. It might have been Methodist.
Methodist.
But, yeah.
But either way, so you went there. How long did you go to that church for?
3 years.
3? And then did you decide to go to a different denomination after that?
Right now I'm going to a non-dom.
Non-denominational?
But I switched between non-dom and a Catholic church.
Okay. Yeah, because you just went on that pilgrimage to Baltimore.
Biltmore. I love that.
Sounds kind of like Biltmore.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was thinking Biltmore for some reason. So Baltimore, and that was a Catholic affiliated
pilgrimage. Yeah. It was 100% a Catholic pilgrimage.
Yeah, but you're not. You
Catholic,
don't consider
no.
yourself a Catholic, though.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah. To me, like Protestants and Catholics, they're all Christians to me.
Yeah. No, I like that. I think, it's like a cake is a cake. Like there may be carrot cake, there may be vanilla cake, there may be chocolate cake, but at the end of the day, it's still cake.
Yeah.
You know, still
Unless it's
tastes like
Mormon.
cake. You know, still looks like a cake.
Unless it's Mormon.
Well,
Well,
that's a different cake.
yeah.
I don't know. That's more like a cheesecake. Although I do have a lot of friends who are
I
Mormons,
love
who are very
cheesecake,
nice.
though.
They're very nice people.
Yeah.
It's just not my cup of tea. I mean, there's plenty of good Mormons out there. Just
Oh
very
yeah,
different.
no. They're all
Every
good
Mormon I've
people,
ever
yeah.
met were like the most
Amazing
nicest,
people. Yeah.
kindest, kind-hearted. They'd give you the shirt off their back. Nicest people ever. Just not necessarily my cup of tea as far as for my personal religious experience, spiritual experience. But I like the idea personally, just because of like, I wasn't raised in a Baptist household with like the situation you had, but because I grew up in the church, like we went to church every Sunday as kids. Like my mom was very adamant about us going every single Sunday. I was bored out of my mind. I was like, dude, I can't stand doing this. I was bored to death, like absolutely bored to death.
Yeah, Catholic churches, they're definitely more for adults. I
Catholic
can't
for
see
sure.
a child enjoying a Catholic mass.
It's tough. Even Episcopal, that's even if it's like similar but slightly different, it's still very similar in the sense that I was like, oh, I'm bored to death. But now as an adult, it's like,
you can appreciate it.
I think I appreciate it a little bit more, and also I like the idea. I think that spirituality is almost more important than caring about what denomination you are, or, you know, having some kind of belief in some sort of a thing greater than yourself is going to be better than not believing in anything at all, for me.
Yeah,
What
you
works
just got to
in my
find
mind.
what flavor you like, you
Yes.
know?
I think so.
Yeah, as long as it's Christian, to me. Like,
Yeah.
you just got to be Christian, and then find what, you know, if you want to be a Protestant or you want to be an Orthodox, go ahead. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I could never see myself being anything other than Christian either,
Yeah.
personally. For me, you know, other people can do what they want, but like that's what I feel the most affinity towards. But I do like the idea that you can practice anywhere. I like
Yes.
the idea that you don't have to just practice only in church, and that's the only place that you can practice.
Yeah.
You know, because like there should like that's really that like kind of puts it in a box where it's like a lot of people don't want to, especially young people, don't want to be constricted to like, I have to only do it. It has to be done this exact way because it looks different for everybody, right? Like the way that everybody's going to practice their faith or their spirituality is going to look different, you know? And so I think it's just good to have some sort of a belief in something bigger than yourself, that's greater than yourself out there. Just because, I mean, life
Intellectually, it's a healthy practice.
I think so. Yeah. And it'd be a very kind of a bleak outlook on life.
Nihilist.
Nihilism, dude, that's a real dangerous path, especially with social media being what it is right now, dude.
Definitely
You could go
curtails
down
it.
that path real quick.